films even after losing a box. After a 5-mile walk around town, I never smell your socks. You hid movies from your folks and your mom hid them from your grandma. And a lot of the time that we hang out, you record it with your camera. Always have the strength to forgive when I hit you in the eye. You eat Chinese ramen, nachos, fish, even pizza pie. Standing tall with curly hair, leather jacket wrapped. Oh look, here he comes, the Million Film Almanac. Bobbly, 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 bellissimo. Bobbly, 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 bellissimo. Bobbly, bellissimo. Bobbly, bellissimo.
Hi, and welcome to Babbles. This is my entry for Geek Legion of Doom 5-year anniversary contest, and as such, I'm reviewing something that doesn't fit my usual MO whatsoever. In the video for the Geek Legion of Doom 5-year anniversary contest, Leo asked us to review our favorite movie ever. My favorite movie ever does not align with anything I do here. Not a kaiju movie. It is not a low-budget B-movie or a big-budget so-bad it's good film, so it doesn't work for terribly fun films or kaiju stuff. It's not an asylum movie, so speaking asylums at the table, it's not something I recently acquired, nor is it an object to show off. It needs to be a review of the movie. So it's not nerd show and tell worthy. Luckily, Babbles, which I usually use to discuss whatever theatrical release film gets me fired up to discuss it enough, can cover kind of anything I need it to. It's a very fluid show in that regard, though I never have really used it for anything outside of the few theatrical films I have reviewed on my channel. With all that in mind, though, this is my entry and my review, my favorite movie for Geek Legion of Doom 5-year anniversary video. For those who know me in real life, this won't be a surprise, because it has not changed in the last 6.5 years. And for those who don't, this will probably make you audibly guess. My favorite movie of all time is Zack Snyder's Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch is an astounding visual story from start to finish. Everything important in the film, every important twist or turn of the characters or important moment or anything like that is visual. Only has dialogue when 100% needed. And if movies are a visual storytelling medium, and Sucker Punch is the movie that best utilizes visuals to further the characters, further the story, to foreshadow its twists and turns and indicate moments of reality versus fantasy and fantasy. Doesn't it then make it the best movie ever? Because it's the most visual story told movie ever. Doesn't that make it the greatest movie ever if it is the movie that uses its visuals to further its story the most that I've ever seen? I say yes. However, it is not just the jaw-dropping visuals, which we'll get to more in a moment, that makes it so interesting. The plot's pretty great. Baby Doll, played by Emma Browning, is sent to a mental institution due to her dad being a drunk bastard, basically. And given that it's a period film in about the 1950s, they didn't really question why she was there. And during Baby Doll's time there, she discovers other girls who were sent there for similarly messed up reasons. Not messed up on the girls, but messed up in justice and that sort of thing. And she vows to escape with these other girls. However, at the facility, the head orderly named Blue, played by Oscar Isaac in a chillingly awesome performance, abuses them or sets them up to be abused by visitors and things like that. In order to mentally block this out, Baby Doll goes into a level of fantasy where all the patients are now dancers on a stage who are dancing to be thrown off for the next person bidding on them. You can get where that's going. And then when the titillation is supposed to happen, when you would think there would be not necessarily nudity, but something more sexy and provocative when the dancing's happening, that's not what we see. There is nothing like that in the film whatsoever, because we go into another layer of fantasy, and this time they are action sequences designed to further the plot along while still being complete flights of fantasy. So, fantasy one is the dancing stuff, like that world. Next fantasy rounds are divided into a section where Baby Doll means to escape. That is what the dance conveys. And she has to fight giant samurai who use rocket launchers and Gatling guns in order to convey that. Basically, she has to take down giant male figures in order to be determined of her own will, aka her dad, the orderly, the justice system that's wrongfully censored here. Then the next fantasy sequence in the action regard, they need to steal a map. So there's a map of all the doors and exits and everything in the main office of the nurses and orderlies that they need in order to plot out an escape route. This takes the form of a World War I-esque trench warfare, only the soldiers are steam-powered zombies. Yeah, steam-powered zombies. And they use, the girls, or heroines, use a mech with a giant pink bunny painted on it. And, of course, there's a dirigible that is getting blown up, because there's always a dirigible that's getting blown up. The next fantasy sequence is a sort of post-apocalyptic orc horde defending a castle in which a dragon lives, and the girls jump out of a plane to get there and fight all this, and they have to defeat the dragon in order to be successful. The next fantasy sequence is on a futuristic bullet train heading for a city, and they need to go from one end of the train to the other end of the train in order to deactivate a bomb that's on the far end of the train that they couldn't land on. Doing so means that they have to fight a whole bunch of robots. And this particular sequence is my absolute favorite sequence in the movie, in part because it is designed to appear that it's all one single shot until they reach the bomb. It's about 4 minutes long, and the camera's roving in and out, through, around, and under the various characters and objects on this train, up to and including going through holes that are created in the train to come out to the other side of a different hole, go re-enter the train, and it's awesome. This brings up one of the other favorite things about the film is sense of perspective is distorted for most of the movie. The movie actually opens up on curtains that are on a stage, and it's got the WB logo right there, like projected onto it. And then the curtains open up, and that's when we see Baby Doll sitting there waiting to see if her mom survives or not. And then when she first shows up, before the fantasy happens, shows up to the mental institution, we get a quick cut version of all the regular events and all the fantasy events that we will be seeing throughout. The daily chores, the abuse, all that leading up to what is the high roller in the main fantasy realm of the dancing, and is actually a doctor who specializes in lobotomies, played by John Hamm, interestingly enough. And it all comes full circle when we get through all the fantasy sequences. But after that, we're then introduced to the character of Sweet Pea, played by Abby Cornish, on stage facing the exact same manner we were originally introduced to Emily Browning's Baby Doll. This is our first clue that our focus is shifting from one main character to a different main character. And throughout the film, that continues to happen. There's a shot during the train sequence. The reason I brought all that up is because it actually plays with your sense of up and down, because you think you're looking down on the people, but then we come down like that, and we realize we weren't, and at the top of the train, at least that part had a mirror attached to it, and it would go down like this. Another switching perspective part happens when all the girls are discussing Baby Doll's plan to get out of here, and how much work it'll be. Why will it work? What can they contribute? Things like that. And they're putting on their makeup for the dancing show. So in one of the fantasy sequences, of course. And we're coming around. We just see a line of mirrors. The girls like this. We've seen shots like this before, so we only see them all in the mirror. But we come to the edge of the mirror. We flip around it, and then we're back on the right side, which isn't actually possible. We're back on the right side next to Rocket, who is Sweet Pea's sister. And this, once again, is a very clever visual cue of who the main character now is, of how the story is switching gears, and what it is actually all about. I will say that there is something to be said about this movie addressing the male gaze as it does. Again, there's no actual titillation in the film, and the characters who are trying to be titillated by this are directly talked down to, or are the bad guys. But there's something to be said for a movie that's doing that is written and directed by a man, and as a man, I don't feel necessarily qualified to have that conversation, but that is just something to keep in mind. And then throughout the movie, throughout most of the visual sequences, of course, there's music, but it's not just the score. Zack Snyder said he loves remakes of songs because he quote-unquote likes the baggage that they bring. I believe that's the direct quote. It might have been a slight paraphrase of what he said, but that's the idea behind what he meant. And so therefore, we get versions of Sweet Dreams, Where's My Mind by the Pixies, Asleep, all sung by various members of the cast. Sometimes it's just one person, Emily Browning or Abby Cornish. Occasionally it's multiple people singing the song, like Oscar Isaac and Carlo Gugino, and they are where the emotion lies. The visuals are the story and characters, and the songs are the emotional core of the movie. So you can listen to the soundtrack, and it's in order of song one, first song in the movie, to the very last song, that sort of thing. And it works out really, really well in that regard. because you can still follow all the emotional cues just by listening to the soundtrack, and that's amazing to me. You can't always do that. A lot of times soundtracks are meant to highlight the emotional cues, not be them. And I think that's pretty kick-ass. In terms of the CGI, of which there's a copious amount of in this film, it actually held up really, really well. I just watched this before doing this review, and it holds up very well and very excitingly, and that makes me super effing happy, obviously. I don't like doing spoilers in my movies, so I realize this isn't chock full of aspects of the film, but I think people should experience it. You already watched it, didn't like it in theaters, I think you should rewatch it because it tells you when it's switching gears. It tells you when the main character changes. It tells you when the great sacrifice that gets referenced throughout the film is happening. You will know it. And it's super awesome and heartfelt. And the way things play out between the beginning moments of Baby Doll's sister dying and stuff, and then what happens to further characters and how those parallel with each other and how her reaction to those become different is really subtle but very important to the overall everything. The last thing I'll say is all the acting from everybody in the film is great. They do an amazing job at bringing to life these characters, especially Oscar Isaac, who you just love to hate in this film. He's such a good villain. As always, thank you for watching. I've been your host, Bobby. This has been a review for my favorite movie for the Geek Legion of Doom 5-year anniversary contest video. And I hope you loved Sucker Punch as much as I did. Or if you haven't seen it, this made you want to check it out.